All right. Well, we've left Arizona, heading for Mexico to spectate the Baja 1000. Now in a Home Depot parking lot, though, prepping the Xterra with a bunch of gear and solar panels affixed to the outside. Pop down to San Diego. There's Preston's flight landing. Then we drop down into the next day into Mexico. So now we're in Ensenada. Nice fake California license plate. Headed to the foothills south of Ensenada. So a little bit inland. The course, as the folks are pre-running, kind of comes up a little valley almost, and there's an access road. I mean, calling it a road is generous. That goes through a bunch of ranches and whatnot. We ran into one other team who was kind of positioned there. They were doing their little pit stop there with a quick dinner break for the driver. And we saw maybe half a dozen to 10 vehicles come through. So they're not going at full speed. They're kind of checking their notes. In this case, right, you see the course kind of split. It's good to just have your notes like stay straight here, right, if that's the more direct route, rather than be thrown off. So all sorts of little improvements at every junction where the driver can be 100% certain of what they're doing. You can see the suspension even on the side-by-side. A lot of teams pre-running with side-by-sides, even if that's not what they're racing. It's just a versatile, inexpensive, good way to go. As these guys climb up into the higher altitudes. It also gets a lot colder too. So you like inland and higher up, the temps will change. I think that wraps up this day. So we're in Ensenada, a dusty, very large city that feels like a town. I'd say 1 out of 10 vehicles does not have a license plate on it. There are stops that just come out of nowhere with 40-year-old faded signs, no lines on the ground. And yeah, I've blown through 2 stop signs at speed.
Meters, turn left.
Sunday morning, people are out sweeping the accumulated dust from their driveways and the streets and whatnot. Yeah, and back to the intersections. There's guys sweeping. The intersections when they're 2 lanes at a 4-way intersection are a little bit free for all. And the worst is when there's a cop at one of them, because then no one goes and the cop doesn't go, and it's just kind of a mess. Furthermore, some green lights are actually blue lights, which is interesting. They flash before it goes to very quick yellow and then a red. Did I mention that I love mezcal and tequila? So we're south of Ensenada here. Yeah, there's a 2-lane in each direction highway with dirt, like frontage roads. And you can drive in the wrong direction on the dirt frontage road. So it's like there's 3 different roads here, the 2 side dirt roads, but then sometimes it's like a 3-4 foot drop or rise to get to that. And yeah, just everywhere you see trophy trucks, trophy spec trucks, buggies, etc. I mean, they're everywhere. Now we're kind of east of Ensenada, heading across the peninsula. This is Chuck Dempsey and their crew. They're running Brenthal trucks, but the pre-running is in these side-by-sides. So here they head out to kind of pre-run a certain leg. And I mean, they'll sometimes do it several times in one day. There's kind of a logic to it. Sometimes you run a whole day through. Kind of depends on how it's laid out, right? If the course is a big loop or if it's point to point. Yeah, this must be actually awful for them. Look at the camber. Helps on the outside. There's a shitload of weight transfer though. So Preston gets sick, and like a good friend, well, I leave him. Explore the route of cheese and wine, although no wine and little cheese to speak of. Although there were agave plants that were heavily guarded. And the best tacos, carne asada, and horchata in the place at Val T. There's just one taco stand there that's awesome. There's the Xterra in her glory. I'm now exploring kind of little side roads and various paths. I'm using the GPS. I'm using satellite imagery. I find a few spots along kind of these long whoops here. You can see a biker going by. Along these really long high tension lines, and they kind of vibrate in the wind and sound like echoing springs or almost like reverb on an old amp. It's pretty cool. So you can see one of the access roads off to the left there. So I'm marking in kind of Google Maps or in my GPS application kind of where these access roads are, both for spectating and for running, right? It's good to know. Yep, there goes some sort of truck. You see they're flying because it's so straight. So they're really hauling the mail here. Yeah, the amount of work a motorcycle takes. I mean, look at this. They're constantly up off the seat, constantly balanced. And I didn't rotate in time, but you can see the aftermath of just one whoop that kicks a little off. And I mean, all right, that's 15 degrees from going end over. Now we get some more transit. You can't see quite the danger, but up in the hills, I mean, it's just switchback after switchback and pretty high speeds and trucks and vehicles with, refrigerators and chickens in the back and other teams. But people pretty polite out there. Yeah, these massive windmills on the way down into a valley. There's Bryce Menzies' pre-running truck. And there's Bryce's helicopter. Alright, so we're at an entry point here that was a little bit steep. It should probably keep most spectators. Well, we'll see. I have no clue what this is going to look like when it's overrun. I'm just this is all like watershed area. There's some tracks here and there. You can't really drive straight. You have to zigzag to see the course. Nope. See that. Let's try this landscape. I don't know why I'm taking all this video upright, but whatever. So there we are, a third of the way towards where the course is. And this is just a bunch of which way do I goes. Hence not going too fast. There are some tracks here and there. I'm recording this too, so but it's not so tough that you really get caught out too much. We're about 1/3 of the way through. Good enough. As long as we make our way in the right direction. Alright, so now we're working our way towards San Felipe. Yeah, this is just about as you hit the water. The ground turns a little more kind of ground up seashells and coarse sand. And there's some cool spots here where actually the course runs along the highway for a little bit as well. Here we are kind of in the flats right before the hills kind of pick up. And we rounded off the day by hitting this spot outside of Ensenada. Seems like a summer tourist trap kind of spot, but here, actually this guy's property where for like $5 you could camp overnight. So there was a couple in a Sprinter van there. Yeah, we just took in the sunset, just a beautiful oceanside sunset. The Baja 1000 starts the next day. It starts super early in the morning for the motorcycles, a little later on for anything with four wheels. So we took this in, and I forgot what we did. Probably had some drinks and some food.